What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. Bye, singing dog. Bye, goal.
I pronounce you...
Bye, wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figure it out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning, all, and welcome to Sin's Chat Corner. We have a unexpected Saturday morning show, and I'm very excited to announce that singer Amy Rose is actually going to be on the show this morning. So instead of have her waiting on hold here, let's get right to our interview and see what she's got to say. Good morning, Amy.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing just fine for this lovely Saturday morning, and how are you?
I'm doing fantastic now that I'm talking to you.
Oh, thank you so much. I was so very excited. I was just going to tell the studio audience, because I didn't get a chance to, Michael Stover, who happens to be your publicist, is probably one of my most favorite people in the whole wide world.
Oh, he is pretty awesome, I got to say.
Oh, my gosh. He brings me the most amazing talent, all very diverse individuals, each one of you so far that I've had on my show, and I'm always excited to have each of you here because it's just an amazing experience for me. So I have to thank you, and, of course, thanks to Michael, of course, for having you get booked on the show. I'm very excited, and I'm very fascinated to ask you a bunch of different questions. I've done my research a little bit here, so I want to kind of pick your brain a little bit, if that's okay with you.
Oh, yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, wonderful. First of all, I wanted to talk about your origins, because as I understand it, you were a native of, I believe it's called Barrie, Canada. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, Barrie, Ontario, and I'm from Canada.
That's exactly what I thought. Could you maybe tell us of your initiation into the music industry? Meaning, first off, I'm curious because, of course, obviously I live in the United States. Canada may be a little bit different. What kind of outlets were available to you musically there? How you initially started off on your journey here musically?
It's a long story. I was probably about 5. No, I was 5 when I first, wanted to, when I actually approached my parents and said, I want to be a singer. And at that point, people are like, 5, what do they know? Like, go watch Barney. But, my parents humored me and I got up and I sang. And at that point, my parents were like, okay, we've got something here. Let's work with it. And, years later when I was 13, I released my first album. I was very fortunate to meet some great producers in my area. And, with us working hard, we, produced an album and released it. And it landed me some amazing opportunities, including going on a tour. And then, it was a gospel album. At that point, it wasn't really a country album that I was working on, but it was always country that I wanted to do. And in Canada, it's probably harder to make it into the industry. Not so that it's hard, but there's a lot of great talent from Canada, and everybody's just, wanting to make it. And it's not like there's a whole lot of outlets opposed to the U.S., right? So right. It's almost like everybody is trying to make it at that point, and you're trying to use the same outlet. So it's what makes you different from everybody else is what's going to get you there.
Exactly. I would agree. I found it so interesting because I see that your musical career originally initiated, if we want to be technical about it, at the age of 5. I was very curious to kind of ask you maybe some of your earliest inspirations, meaning, okay, you're 5 years old and you're at home. Are you tinkering around? How did you get into that? I mean, how did this start?
I grew up in a musical family, not so that they sang, but they just loved music like people in general, right? So they were always listening to, Patsy Cline and Dolly Parton and Conway Twitty, the true classics of country, right? And I just remember sitting there listening to their records, and oh my God, I'm showing my age when I say records, but they would listen to records of Dolly Parton, and I am a huge fan of Dolly Parton. So at that point, I would walk around the house singing and humming and just practicing. It was like I almost wasn't like a normal kid. I would come home and I wouldn't want to play Barbies. I'd want to go into my room with my my hairbrush and sing in front of my mirror. And, it's funny because we were downtown at a promenade day, which is a Barrie fair that happens every year here. And at that point, my parents really didn't know how much I actually loved to sing. And there was a karaoke contest going on, and I remember saying to my mom and my dad, I want to get up there and I want to sing. And they were like, well, let's just watch the show, Amy. And I was like, no, Mom, I really want to get up and I want to sing. And so they humored me, and then they went and talked to them, and I think I was too young at that point, but they allowed me to do it anyway, right? And I think that's where the parents kind of went, okay, wow, we really do have something here, and she's not kidding, so let's work with it.
Gotcha. And then at that particular point, let's say you're younger and as you aged and matured a little bit more, did you find yourself kind of doodling around, writing up, creating your own songs, things coming into play like that?
Oh, all the time. Like, I can't remember not wanting to write too. I love writing, whether it was just stories or, something that happened. I always like to sit down and write. And, with this album, that's what I got to do, right? So, it's not just the creative side of singing, but it's a whole package, right? Like it's one of those things where you know what you want to do, and I want to be a singer and I want to be a songwriter, and I've known that for a very long time at a very young age.
And additionally, of course, I guess my presumption here is you're going along and you're writing all these different songs. And was it always the country thing, or at a young age did you kind of take a look at the other things, looking at rock or classic rock, or was it just that the country stuck with you, or did you have an appreciation for all of them and just kind of selectively said, country's where I'm at?
You know what? I love all genres of music, and but I have to say country has always been my true passion. My first album that I released was a gospel album, and, though at the time it just seemed fit, it kind of left me to the point where I was like, I love it, but, it's not country, and country is truly where my heart is.
I gotcha. Okay. Now, as I understand it, you did your musical studies. I believe it's pronounced the Tough Gong Studios, is that correct?
Sorry?
I believe that it says here that your musical studies, did you attend Tough Gong Studios, is that correct?
No.
I would swear that okay. Well, if I have misinformation here, maybe you can share with us some of the benefits. Musically, I'm assuming that you've gotten an education in music, and if you can kind of give us a background on where that came from and what the benefits were from that and what you felt you gained from that.
Well, it's not like I went to school to study it, but since I was a young age, I've been in music lessons. I got to learn a cool, unique thing called yodeling, and by the age of 13, it just kind of stuck with me, and I worked hard, and it's one of those things that I use all the time in my shows. As well as opera. I've done opera in the past. So, just different vocal techniques that I've worked on in the past, but necessarily I haven't really trained for it.
Okay, I gotcha. And as you are now getting older, are you finding that you wish to branch out into those various types of things? Like you said, you've tried these other outlets before. Is that something that intrigues you to possibly do in the future besides just the country aspect of things?
I would honestly probably like to one day maybe release or not even release, but, do a rock song, a really, really hardcore rock song, and just see how I can convert that. I don't know if it will be a complete mess, but, it's worth a try.
Oh, my goodness. Now, that's surprising to me. And, well, actually, the opera side of things is surprising to me because I'm a huge opera fan. And so I always get excited when I hear that people have actually sang opera. It takes some tenacity, I think, to perform in that arena. I think it's amazing that you can do something like that. Kudos. And you're beautiful on top of it, by the way. I forgot to mention that.
Oh.
Now, I personally find it nothing short of amazing that your first album was released at the meager age of 13. I believe it's entitled One Special Girl. Could you explain to our audience the process involved with the completion of that project? How did it come about?
Oh, my gosh, that album was just a lot of work, and so is any album, but I remember at that point I was in high school, or just entered high school, so it was like I'd go to school and then I would, come home and get my stuff, and we'd have to drive to Wasaga Beach, which is about 45 minutes away from Barrie, and I would be in the studio from about 6 o'clock at night until 11 o'clock, and this would happen about 4 times a week, 3 to 4 times a week, and it was like I lived, I breathed, and I just slept music all the time, right? So And you know, the process of that, it was probably a good six months in the making for that album. So it was a lot of work. Everything about that, there was no, you know, going after school with friends or going out to, you know, the typical teenage parties. It was music. It was music 100% with me. And the process of that album, it took forever, but it was well worth it.
And did you find that to be more strenuous? Obviously, because, of course, at age 13, most of us are thinking, I'm a teenager and I'm doing this and this and this. I'm curious to ask, because I'm a parent myself also, how your parents dealt with that. You know, that's a lot of expectation, responsibility for a child 13. How did you commingle all of that, if you will?
You know what, I think at a point that they were relieved, right? Because, you know, there's a lot of stuff that happens in schools, and they knew, you know, I wasn't there being a mischief. They knew that I was, you know, in the studio working on an album, and, you know, I didn't really go out and associate a lot with friends after school. It was, you know, I've got my music career, and this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to do for life. So, you know, I'm going to go and I'm going to work on that album. I'm going to work as hard as I can to get where I need to be. And, you know, still to this day, my parents even, you know, kind of talk about it and go, you know, well, she really did know at 5 when I sat down with them and told them, this is what I want to be and this is my life strategy and, you know, you're going to help me get there. So, you know, I think in a way to answer the question, I think they were relieved. It's not like I wasn't a normal kid. Yeah, I did go to, you know, birthday parties and you know, did the whole friend thing, but not as much as what your typical 13-year-old would do. And I think in this industry, you know, there's a lot of artists that have started young, and this industry does make you grow up a lot. You've got to grow up, you know, and find your way and find who you are to be where you need to be.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And, of course, obviously it worked very well for you because you've obviously progressed along to bigger and better things, which we're getting to. I want to twist things around kind of to more present day because your roles in life obviously extend not only to musician but being a mom and being a wife, as I understand it.
Yes, I have 3 beautiful daughters.
I was just going to ask
you
about that, actually.
And honestly, they are the reason.
But, of course, I'm a typical girl, so I always want to talk about the really cutesy stuff. So let's talk about your husband, of course. Do tell us, A, is he a musician? Second of all, how did you meet him?
Oh, gosh. You really want to know the real story?
Yes, of course. All the listeners want to know the dirt.
We actually met, my husband is a paramedic here in Ontario, and we actually met at a bar. I was singing at a bar, actually, and he was there just at the point of after work having a drink, and so I was at this bar, and I shouldn't have been. I was underage, and it was one of those things where, you know, the bartender sneaks you in to sing some songs, right? So I go in and sing some songs. And he was there, and we met, and long story short, we met and we married.
Wow, that didn't take very long, did it? Oh, my goodness gracious. So you were an early bride.
There's a whole long story, but the story could go on forever.
Goodness. Holy cow, look at that. Okay, I gotcha. Now, obviously, I wanted to ask additionally how your family deals with the somewhat heavy expectations that you have due to obviously having your life as a musician.
You know what? I think my family is really enjoying it. Like it's not as easy as what it was when I was younger, right? Because you think of one person and that's yourself, and now I've got a whole different ballgame. I think of my kids when I'm, you know, doing music. It's, you know, can I be away from my kids this week to go on the road, or, you know, can I do this because of the kids? It's a whole different ballgame, but it's in the sense of I think they're enjoying it. Like my 11-year-old, sorry, oh my God, I'm making myself older than what I really am. My 11-year-old, it was funny when Party Like a Redneck came out, the video, I had talked to the directors and I had said one of the things I really want, I wrote this song based on my family, and one of the things I wanted was my family to be in the video. So all 3 of my children were in Party Like a Redneck, the music video. And my daughter had the video had just gotten picked up from CMT, and we were all very expected by it because, you know, it's a very hard task to accomplish. So, you know, when it got picked up, my daughter had, you know, come to me, my 11-year-old, and she goes, you know, Mom, do you think it might be time to get me some security? And I'm thinking, what? Why do you need security? And she goes, well, the paparazzi's going to want to know what your kids look like. And I'm like, oh, my God, Dana, if it ever gets to that point, I promise we'll get you some security, some high-tech security. But at this point, hon, it's not there.
Oh, my God, how
some of the questions that come out with.
Oh, my gosh. Now, do tell me, how old are your children?
Dana is 11, Olivia is 4, and Ella is 2.
Okay, I've got you. So, of course, we have the 11-year-old going to school, and I'm guessing that this is probably huge bragging rights for her to be able to say, hey, guess who my mom is? Check this out.
And at the age of 11, she's going, I was in a music video, and I'm on CMT, and I'm she's so funny.
That's so cool. That makes for a really lovely experience. And, of course, I imagine it must be so bountiful for you to be able to look at your children and just see that they're proud of their mom and that, you have this passion that they admire so much. Any inclination as to whether they may go down the same road you're going?
You know what? It's funny because Dana, my oldest one, is, to sum it up, identical to the way that I was. She loves music. And, in fact, I think that she's more into it at her age now than what I was. She's been taking dance since she was 2, and she just loves to dance and sing. And, clearly I think she thinks she's going to be the next Justin Bieber, but the female version, right? So,
right, exactly.
So making all these cute little YouTube videos and saying, well, maybe somebody will see me, Mom, and I'll be a star.
Oh, neat. How cool is that? And I'm assuming, obviously, Mom would be 100% on board for that. Or would you kind of maybe hesitate and say, hey, this is a lot of work, this is a lot of this or that. Would you be more encouraged by that, or would you be hesitant?
I would like to say that I would be encouraging, but I know how the industry, how hard it is to make it in this industry. And, for every one person that wants you to make it, there's 100 more that don't, right? So,
right.
It's definitely a cutthroat industry, and I just, nobody wants to see their kids get hurt, right? So, I would encourage her. I definitely wouldn't say don't do it, but at that same point, I would like to, I'd like to see her finish school and get an education and possibly, explore all her options.
Oh, wonderful. Look at that. And your husband must be so proud of you. Again, with the bragging rights. He's probably out there, yeah, that's my wife. That's our video. Check this out. He must be proud.
Oh, he's ecstatic. You know what? He's probably more, I think he's more excited about things than I am. I get excited, but it's funny whenever Michael will send us an email in regards to stuff that's going on, or we'll be talking to Michael about, hey, this is going on, and he gets on and it's like, oh my God, Amy, this is going on, and he's just so excited. It's great, though, to have that type of support in the family unit, right?
That's absolutely amazing. How wonderful is that? Okay, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I kind of want to talk a bit about your second album, which is Last of the True Believers, which was released in 2001. Do you find that there's a variation musically between One Special Girl and this album? Do you see differences between the two? Obviously, I know you were younger at one time, but you personally as a musician?
Oh gosh, yeah. It's funny because at 13 I was so young, and I didn't have any say in the songs that I sang on One Special Girl, to the musicians, to the way that the music was, to even the photo shoot, the album shoot cover. I didn't even get to say which one it was going to be, or it was just one of those things where everything from the clothes to the hair to the songs to everything with that album was picked for me, right? Where with The Last of the True Believers, I had at that point, even though I was 16, I kind of said, this is what I want. This is, these are my views on this, and they would kind of go, okay, we see what you're saying, and, this is, yeah, we can work with it. And, one was a gospel album, which was One Special Girl, and then the Last of True Believers was kind of a pop country album, right? So, yeah, they're very, very different, opposed to, the sound and what type of area we were, aiming to go down.
Oh,
for those two albums.
Definitely. And I'd also like to maybe have you elaborate a bit on some of the inspiration that was put into this particular recording. Where did it come from?
For the new album?
No, the 2001, Last of the True Believers.
Oh, the inspiration.
That's a good question. I always ask that. I want to know, where did it come from?
Oh, my gosh. That's years ago. I can barely remember what I ate yesterday.
Oh, that's okay. You know what? If you can't remember it, you can't. You know what might be a better question to ask you then is this. Maybe kind of elaborate to us on the process. What is your process like if you want to sit down, like I'm an author, so I have my own process as to how I do things, from the pen I use, the music I listen to not having any wine until I'm done writing. All of these are little niches that I have for myself. for you personally as a musician, maybe explain your process and how you do that. How do you write a song, your songs?
Well, every song has a story, right? So I just, it's funny how songs come about. Like I was, one day just sitting in a coffee shop and I was just drinking coffee and I seen this really cute, good-looking boy, and I was like, oh my God, he's such a Cowboy Romeo. And then I literally had called up my my bass player, who is just fantastic. And we were talking about, writing a song together. So when we sat down, we kind of talked, and I, brought up the song Cowboy Romeo to her. And long and behold, we sat down, we wrote the song about, a Cowboy Romeo that really was fictional, but he wasn't. He was someone that, I had seen walk into a coffee shop, and I'm like, oh my God, he's gorgeous. What's going on? And stuff like that. And Redneck Reunion, when I wrote that with my producers from this album, Glenn Colson and Marty Beecroft, and that song, it's funny. It's actually based on my sister's wedding and my redneck family. So, there's definitely, every song has a story, and I always try to write songs that, have been life experiences that have happened to me or that have some sort of meaning.
I gotcha. Of course, that makes sense. Next, let's talk about that original recording that you did based on the Backstreet Boys song, which is I Just Want You to Know, which you performed in your own style. Was there a particular reason in making the selection of that particular band's work to make your own, so to speak? How did that come about?
Well, I have, actually, Jessica might be listening. A good friend of mine, Jessica, who I've been friends with for years, she is a huge Backstreet Boy fan, and she has probably every album. I think she's been probably every concert. And she had actually brought that song to me, and it was a song that was put on one of their albums as a filler song. I actually don't know if it was really released. But she had brought it to me and had said, I really like this song, Amy, and I think you do a good job doing it in country. And I listened to it, and I fell in love with it. It's such a great song, and, even the way that they do it is absolutely amazing. And I thought to myself, can I even come close to trying to compare or top that? And I was like, you know what, let's just have fun with it. So when that song, when we were talking about doing a new album, I had brought that song to my producers and had them listen to it, and they said, no, it's a really good song, let's do it. And long and behold, that's, one of our first songs we went to Nashville and did.
And look at that. And, of course, obviously, it's so exciting, as I'm sure you know, when you have your singles and they first debut and then they go on to have just amazing luck here as far as with the Music Row breakout chart, obviously, which I know it's been on before. Is it kind of a surreal experience? I mean, are you still kind of looking at this and thinking, oh, my God, this is me and I accomplished this and this is awesome and I keep getting better and people keep noticing me? Are you at that point yet where you're kind of owning it and saying, you know what, I did this.
Every day. Like, it's funny. Every day I'm like, oh, my God, what are people thinking? Like, Michael will email me and say, the song moved up 3 spots or the song moved up 4 spots. And I'm like, oh, my God. Like, I literally start jumping to the point where if you were sitting beside me, you'd just think, oh, my God, I'm crazy. But I literally start jumping and I'm, like, crying and I'm just an emotional wreck. And I'm like, what are people thinking? I can't believe they like me. So I'm so thankful, and I'm so just humbled that everybody is giving me an opportunity to do what I love, and that's make music.
Was this something that you anticipated? Did you have that inner confidence to be able to say, you know what, I am going to make it, and I'm going to do well, and people are going to know my name, and they're going to recognize me? Or did it kind of sneak up on you, and, you just weren't expecting all this?
It's funny because people think that it's just something that happened overnight, and I'm 29 right now, and I literally have been working on this since I was 5. I took some time off in the middle to have some a family, have some kids, but at that point, they're like, wow, it's happened so fast, and I'm like, no, it really hasn't. This is 20 years in the making. I'm not really I'm not someone that just woke up one morning and said, gee, I'm going to be a singer, and then I did a song and it made the charts. This is something that has, taken a long time, and it's still a long road ahead of us, you know what I mean? So I'm just so humbled that people are still allowing me to do what I love.
Oh, definitely. And you do it very well, by the way, because I have listened to your music, and I can say that you do it very well. And I can say that I'm impressed for a young lady, and yes, you are young, because the host here is 43. So you've got some younger years on me here. Thank you very much. I kind of found it neat. I've been told that your sound has been compared to the likes of both the American Idols, obviously Carrie Underwood and Kelly Clarkson. 2 questions there. First off, Are you flattered by that? And second of all, do you notice any similarities between their voices and yourself?
I honestly, when I heard that, it was probably the first time when I went to Nashville. Back about a month ago, we did our radio tour down there, and I had a couple shows. And the first time I actually had heard that was when I was in a radio interview, and they're like, you know, how do you feel being compared to Kelly Clarkson and Carrie Underwood? And I was like, are you kidding me? Are people really saying that? And then I started reading more because I really hadn't read a whole lot about it, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe, like, it's such an honor. You know, these are two fantastic singers, and they are just really tearing up the charts, right? So even to just be named in the same category as them, I'm flabbergasted.
Oh, definitely. And, you know, obviously, especially with a girl like Kelly Clarkson, she's one of my personal favorites. She just sings from the heart, and she doesn't pull any punches. Pretty much in her music, you can tell what she's thinking, how she's feeling. I have a great appreciation for women that can sing like that. That's very strong. And
she's amazing.
You're in a wonderful category, my dear. My goodness gracious, you are impressive. I'm sure that we touched on this a little bit earlier, but I know that you had want to talk a little bit about, I want to know from you the qualities and attributes that you admire most about your musical icon, Dolly Parton, because I've been told that she's an idol of yours, and I'm just curious as to what inspires you about her.
Oh, gosh, what doesn't inspire me about her? She's so amazing. I'll tell you a story. So I've always been a huge fan of Dolly Parton. I love her. Her music alone is just amazing. And you know, to boot, she's an amazing person. I got to see her years ago in concert at Casino Rama, and she was doing a 2-night show, so we got to see her on the second night. And she comes out, and she's just so funny and just forward with the crowd, right? Like, she can say anything and get away with it. So she comes out on stage, and she just kind of goes, wow, we got a mighty fine, good-looking crowd here tonight, I got to tell you, because last night I had some ugly ones. And I was just, like, laughing, and I was like, I can't even believe that she said it. And everybody just there was just, oh, my God, they fell in love with her. And, you know, she doesn't even have to say anything. She's a good singer in herself, but just her personality and her outgoing personality and the way that she's a kidster, and I love it. I love everything about her.
Oh, that's amazing. Now, now that you're getting closer to moving along in your career and you've had some time to check out and listen to and discover other individuals, have you added others to that list in terms of somebody you would say, yeah, this is a music icon to me, someone that I would love to share a stage with?
Oh, so many. I want to share a stage with everybody. Reba McEntire.
Did you hear that? Anyone listening? If you know anyone, yeah, she'll do it. Anybody.
Everybody, I'll share a stage with you.
Well, and sometimes you don't know because you are more country geared. So if I was a betting woman, I would say, okay, yeah, she'd say Patsy Cline, or she would say Reba McEntire, or you know, that sort of thing. But that doesn't always necessarily mean that that's what you find to be iconic. It could very well be someone else. Could be Cher, like myself.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm kind of curious as to see, you know, who really inspires that fire in you, and you just think, I can't get enough of that singer.
Oh, well, you know who I would actually really love to share a stage with? John Bon Jovi. I would absolutely just love to sing with him. Like, not only is he a great singer and his music is just off the charts fantastic, but he's so cute.
I was just going to say, I would just love to marry him. Oh, wait, that's right. He has a wife already.
Well, stand in line, honey.
Oh, my God. He is just absolutely amazing. I am a huge admirer of his talent. I think that, you know, Steven Tyler's of the world, Rolling Stones, obviously, all your classics are just amazing. If you could think about duetting with someone, who might that be, male or female?
Male, I would have to say John Bon Jovi.
Okay.
It would be great to, you know what, funny, it would be great to do something with Kiss.
Wow. She just blew me away right there, folks, because I wasn't seeing that coming at all. Really? Wow. Kiss.
I would like to get into the whole makeup here, put on the white makeup, and I could have said Alice Cooper.
Yes, you actually could have. Okay, I gotcha. Now, tell us a little bit, because I'm of course from Wisconsin, and I'm not sure who all over the place is going to be listening from what state, so we aren't always privy to getting to a show or a concert. Tell us what that's like. I mean, do we have elaborate sorts of country costumes, or what sort of prep work goes involved into bringing a show about, your show, as compared to another artist?
You know what I try to do? I'm very, as you can tell, I have no filter, and that's what people have said about me. I've got probably I'm not sure if it's an outgoing personality, but it's a personality that is not stoppable. So, I try to incorporate that into my shows. Like I said, I love the fact that Dolly Parton's really forward and she's funny. And, we try to add that kind of humor into our shows, even though we're there to make music and we're there to really give people a good time. But it's about having fun, too, right? So, every now and then we'll try to add in like a little, comic step. Not really that I'm a comic, but, I like to have fun with the audience. So I think that's very important to me. Not only am I there to sing, but I'm there to make them have fun. And if, telling jokes or, doing the whole, I'm there to have fun.
Oh, wonderful. I gotcha. And is there audience participation encouraged at your shows as well?
Oh, my gosh.
Anybody ever come up on stage and want to sing with you, et cetera, et cetera?
Oh, yeah. It's funny because we did a show about a month ago and we had a young gentleman that was at one of our shows, and he was so funny to the point where we did a remake of Big and Rich, Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy, but we kind of incorporated into my style, right? And he was just funny, and he had the whole crowd going. I didn't even have to do a thing. He was up, and he was, slapping everybody's bums and grabbing the mic and, doing the whole Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy thing, and he was just great. So it's great to have people at shows like that just, make it fun for me as well.
Oh, definitely. I would agree with that 100%. And, of course, your event schedule, which we'll go through later, obviously, is on your website, which I'll let individuals know as we go along here. Curious, has there ever been an instance in your life where you said to yourself, I kind of regret this choice that I made. Perhaps I should have done something a little more secure, let's say financially. I mean, was there ever any regret or maybe a thought that you maybe should have taken a different career path?
No, not for a second. Ever since I was young, this is what I wanted to do. And, though sometimes I might think, was it the best choice, because there is a lot of traveling involved in it. And, when you have a family, it is hard to be out on the road. But, in a sense, this is exactly what I think I was put on this earth to do. And again, it's to make music. And, as long as my family's supportive of it and I have them backing me up, I'm pretty sure, I can just walk through and accomplish everything.
Definitely. And, of course, that goes along to my next question somewhat, which is maybe tell us the downsides to this occupation. What are you finding out about this that you just doesn't sit well with you? Are there any downsides?
It's funny because people want you to be this certain person. And like I said before, it's a cutthroat industry. Everybody is trying to make it, and there is a lot of talented singers out there. And, it's one of the things, what makes you different from everybody, but also in the sense, there's people that want you to be different or not even different, but, they have this certain image. So you've got to, be, this person that they want you to be. And you can't just be yourself sometimes. You got to change to more or less make them like you. I'm trying to put it in terms to make it sound what I think it sounds like, but I'm not certain if I'm actually getting there.
I see what you're talking about. No, I understand exactly what you mean. Plus, I'm assuming huge expectations, not only you put on yourself, but I'm guessing for individuals who are interested in music. They expect a certain thing out of you. You expect a certain thing out of yourself, and that must be a lot to carry around at times, I imagine.
Yeah, like you gotta, it's funny how the industry, like some points you're thinking, is it 10% talent and is it, 90% image? And which at points it makes you think that, right? You've got to be this person, and you're constantly thinking, am I pretty enough? Am I small enough? Am I talented enough? And of course those are things that you should never have to think about yourself, but unfortunately in this industry it's one of those things that you're constantly thinking of.
Definitely. Oh, honey, I got to tell you, you got no worries about that. Not about the looks, not about the size, not about the talent. So just from an outsider's point of view, I'm just sharing a little bit there for you, dear.
Aw, thank you.
You're quite welcome. I wanted to talk about this amazing, and I mean amazing song, Redneck Reunion. As it stands from what I can see here, it seems to be one of your bigger accomplishments to date thus far. Debuted at number 7 on the Independent Music Network chart. Your video for said song obviously debuted on the top 25 most watched on WildWire.com. And finally, you've just obtained just a tremendous amount of overseas play for the song. I'm curious, was this what you anticipated after you made this song, Did you just know it was just going to be a hit? You know how you just know?
Not at all. No, not even close.
Wow.
This song was just, it's funny. Like, this song was one of those songs that, I'll give you the background story of it. VIP, which was a huge pop group in the 90s, two of those members, Glenn Coulson and Marty Beecroft, are the producers of this album and the co-writers of that song. And my sister, who, was a huge fan of them growing up, loved them, idolized them, swore she was going to marry them. So when she had found out that I was working with Marty and Glenn, she wanted to meet them. And at that point, I was like, oh, my God, like, you can't meet them. You're going to embarrass me. And, because she's got the personality of me. She's really outgoing as well. So at that point, she was just in the process of getting married. And she had asked me to sing her wedding. So as a wedding gift to her, I had Glenn Coulson, which was her boy crush, right, for VIP, come out and do a duet with me. And Glenn is so Mr. Hollywood. He really is, and he was not expecting what he was walking into, which was a big redneck wedding party, probably the biggest redneck bash you could think of, right? So we sang our song, and my grandpa had walked up to Glenn and had said, well, you're a pretty good entertainer, but I got to tell you, Conway Twitty, now that's what you call an entertainer. And that's where that line comes into the song, Conway Twitty, Grandpa talks to Conway Twitty.
Right.
And Glenn just kind of looked at me and went, oh my God, Amy, this is a song. And long and behold, we sat down and we wrote Party Like a Redneck. And I had no idea it was going to be such a huge hit. So that's why when we sat down with the director of the video, I said I wanted to incorporate this into the biggest redneck bash, and I wanted to include a lot of my family because really they were the inspiration behind the song.
Gotcha. And I know this might sound like a silly question to you, but because I am a musician stupid, if you will, meaning I can't sing, I can't play, I can write. That's what I do. So hopefully this won't sound like a dumb question to you. Do you find that this particular piece it might be quote-unquote superior to the others, if you will, meaning... Does that make sense?
It's definitely different than the others, yes. I think it was meant to be like a fun song, right? And that's something I always want to try to incorporate into my shows is the funness, right? So, having this song on the album as kind of like the not so typical song, but it was just, it's meant to be a fun song. So it's definitely separate from or different from what you would normally see on one of my albums.
Gotcha. I got it. Okay, next question for you. I've been told that your full-length album is penciled for release in 2013. Maybe you could divulge to us what we can expect to hear from the new album. Is it going to be a little different? What can we expect to hear?
Well, with this new album, you're going to hear a whole lot of songs about rednecks, cute cowboy rodeos, and then you're going to have your I just want you to know, and You're Waiting on Sunshine, and we have a song on the album called All Kinds of Beautiful, and it's one of those songs about just thanking life for the beautiful things that are in it, including your kids, your family, the fans that allow you to do what you do, right? So it's going to be a mixture. It's going to have your fun upbeats, and it's going to have your I thank you for allowing me to do, what I love to do, and then it's going to have your I just want you to know you broke my heart, and now I'm going to slash tires.
Ooh. I'm kind of liking this. I'm in a realm that I have to tell you, the host here, is in a realm outside of herself because I have fallen in love with a boy who is very much country. I'm very much a city girl, and he's very much a country boy. And so I guess I have to go to the country girl who I'm interviewing and say to her, hey, do you have any really good country songs that I can woo him over and say, hey, I really do listen to this and I like it. I'm trying to get some brownie points here, so help me out. Can you help a girl out here? Give me your best thing here. What do you got that I can play for him?
Oh, okay. So, how crazy are we talking? Do we like him a lot?
He's a true blue country, and you know what? I shouldn't say that. He doesn't walk around with a cowboy hat and all that good stuff. He's a wonderful man, and he has an appreciation for things, and everything is very, he's very on keel and very calm and very nothing to get worried about sort of thing, and that he's kind of a laid-back sort of gentleman. And I think he thinks that I just absolutely hate country music, and I do not, actually. I have a great admiration for what you do. So I'm thinking to myself, if I could just play one of your works and say, honey, do you remember I told you I had this interview today? Now listen to this music. See, I dig this. So if there's something you can pick out, anything romantic, anything really cool to get me points, I'm listening right now.
Okay, so romantic from another artist. Let's go,
Or Amy Rose, I was thinking more so.
Oh, Amy Rose.
Yeah.
I'm playing some party
you
like
are
a
my
redneck.
guest here.
If you want romantic, we have this song coming on the album. It's called Waiting on Sunshine, which is actually going to be the next single.
Okay.
You know, that's definitely a make-out song. Are we thinking we want to make out with them?
Well, always, but, you know, there is a time for there's a time and a place for certain things, certainly. You know, I guess what I always look to, and I can say this for music as a whole, including yours, obviously, in the whole country realm, I do notice there's so much passion and meaning to most of the songs that are written. You can genuinely, you know, it's been said, and I'll be the first one to say it, you know, when I want to feel like I want to die, I'll turn on a country music song because people are leaving their spouses or dying or, you know, an animal died or this, that, or the other thing, which is always my long-standing joke. But then on the whole other side of the fence, there's just some beautifully well-written love songs about love and admiration and respect and family, and it's so moving and touching. And that's the part about country that I think I admire most, is that you all seem to resonate that whole passion for whatever it is that you're singing about. Do you know what I mean?
For sure. I know exactly what you mean. It's not all about, you know, you lose your dog, you lose your cat, you lose your husband, you lose your car, you lose your house, and then you play it backwards and you get it all back. You know, it's not just like that. There's a lot of great songs out there that tell a lot of great stories, and, you know, it's a lot of country. A lot of country songs do that.
Oh, definitely.
So yeah.
Gotcha. Now, I'm curious to ask this because, of course, let's just say that you never return to my show, but God, I hope you do. But let's say we go 5 years down the road and we're looking at Amy, and what's your personal expectation? Where do you want to see yourself? Full-blown tour, wedding? What's going to happen?
It's funny because I'll email Michael, and in terms to the point where sometimes I'll put at the end, and P.S., I would like to sing at the Grand Ole Opry. And Michael's
there you go,
probably
just
thinking,
a little hint.
Yeah, like hint, Michael, you know, well, if I'm in Nashville, hey, I want to sing at the Grand Ole Opry, you know, and Michael's probably thinking, oh, my God, Amy, can you just, like, step back, stop.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
You know, truly, that is my ultimate goal. I've always been a girl with big dreams and high expectations. And, you know, right from day one, honestly, since I was 5, I've always said I want to perform at the Grand Ole Opry. And, you know, I still want to perform at the Grand Ole Opry because that stage has, you know, touched so many people, and so many people who they are today have sang on that stage, and it's made them who they are today. So if I could sing at the Grand Ole Opry, I would probably kiss everybody in this whole world just to do it.
I gotcha. And have Dolly Parton on the stage with you. Let's not forget
and
that.
have Dolly Parton on the stage. We could do like a 9 to 5-er.
Definitely. That would be awesome. I would dig that because I'm digging me some Dolly Parton, too. I got a whole lot of faith in that woman. She's amazingly talented. She can carry off a dress and heels like nobody's business. And for you women listening out there, oh, yeah. I'm sure we all know that tatas are there, and I'm like, God help that poor woman walking around. I mean, she's just she's an impressive, I have no filter either. She's an impressive gal, hands down. That's absolutely amazing. Do you foresee potentially you know, full-blown tour? I mean, would you like to see that? I'm assuming every musician's kind of like, yeah, that's the road
I would love to see that. That is a goal of mine. Yes, I would love to tour the world, and I would love to share my music with everybody. And you know, even in a sense where we just found out this week that between I Just Want You to Know and Party Like a Redneck, it's being played on in Japan 73 times a week. So, you know, I would love to go to Japan. I would love to just, you know, that's somewhere that would just be definitely on the top of my list to go. So, you know, Michael, if you're listening, Japan.
Michael probably is listening because I know he listens in every time I do just to make sure I'm doing my job. Like, is she on the radio right now? So, yes, we're both here right now, Michael.
He's probably
and I guess
sitting there going, I can't believe Amy said that.
Exactly. And I'm presuming, of course, and my guess is that if you do indeed tour, will you take your family with you? Will they be part of that experience then, do you think?
That's something that my husband and I had sat down, and right from the beginning, once we had kids, we had sat down and said, if this should happen, what are we going to do? And, definitely my kids' education is top priority. They need an education, and, they can't get that on the road. So in sense of if I'm on tour during, the school months, then, they would stay behind with my husband and get what they need, and that's their education. And on summer months, they can come party with Mama on the bus.
How cool is that? I have the most awesome mom. I get to party on the tour. How cool is that?
Party tour bus. We're definitely going to be a tour bus of the party.
And I certainly do like to ask most of my musicians that come on, any aspiration in any of the creative field, meaning, acting, anything along those lines? Would you ever see yourself doing something like that, or something you want to branch into maybe even?
Eventually down the road, like any artsy thing I've always been really interested in, and gosh, I would love to do some acting, possibly down the road. If Rookie Blue, love that show, love the cops on it, think they're adorable, so that would be definitely a show that I would like to, definitely try to act on.
Oh, that's awesome. Terrific.
I don't know if I do it justice.
Again, we've covered this. She has no worries. I'm telling you, Amy is talented.
I don't know if I'm really a good actor, but...
intelligent. You know what? You don't know until you try, as you know, obviously. We all have our little aspirations, so you just don't know. Now, for future reference here, and if this is going on right now, it's good to know, and certainly, or if this is in the works, if you have fans that are actually following you or have a vested interest in you that want to meet you in person, walk up to you, talk to you, is that possible? I'm so accessible. There's different media outlets to reach me. Like, you can check me out on Facebook, and, I'm on Facebook, my Reverb Nation, my Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. You can talk to me all the time on Twitter. So, there's definitely, I'd love to meet everybody, and I'd love to hear, everybody's stories and, just what makes them like me. Tell me why you like me. Well, certainly. That makes perfect sense, actually. That's awesome. Now, I want you to correct me if I'm wrong. I want to just go through these various places that individuals can find you since you reference them. Amy has a Facebook page, which is called Amy Rose Music. Of course, she has a website, www.amyrosemusic.com. And on Twitter, she has @Amy, and that's underscore, is that correct? _Rose _music, if I have that correct? Yes. And obviously, she also has MySpace and YouTube, which certainly you can hear your music on there. I forgot to ask you if you are actually on Reverb Nation as well.
We are, yes.
Okay, that's what I thought, actually. I wanted to make a note of that, obviously. My last question to you is probably the most important one I'm going to ask you for the whole interview, which is, how do I score an Amy Rose T-shirt?
Well, I think that can be arranged. I think we could definitely hook you up with one of those.
How much begging would I have to do to get something like that? It's free promotion. That's all I'm going to say.
Would you wear it all the time? Like, would you?
And I'll say,
would you completely walk around town?
That's right. Cindy's walking around town talking about Redneck Reunion, and I got it from her, and she was on my show.
Oh gosh, I so love you,
young lady. Oh my gosh, what can I say? I'm all about the promotion. I'm a shameless promoter 24/7. Amy Rose, this is what I can tell you. I couldn't possibly be happier with giving up an hour's worth of my time on a Saturday just to hang with you. I think you are.
Oh, you're amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, my God. You have been fun, and you have been funny, and I like your personality, and I love your music, and I'm telling my audience right now that I'm going to nag at you for probably a week solid and keep talking about Amy Rose just because I can. I want to give you an open invitation to come back, even, if you become a popular star and you can just say, I was on that Sins chat corner, and who is she? Hopefully you won't ever say that, but hopefully you will entertain the idea of coming back. Hopefully by the time that your release comes up for the album, I'd love to have you come, talk about the new album, what's in store for that. I'd love it. I would be absolutely.
Well, definitely. Oh God, I had so much fun. And if you're ever in Canada, you look me up, and we will totally hook up and go for a beer and talk about this country boy that you're talking about.
Oh my God! Well, hopefully, if he's smart, he will just propose, and then he'll be my husband, and then we will come to Canada, and then, we could actually hang and have a beer together, although he's not much of a drinker. He would probably he's a shy guy.
What's he waiting for? Tell him to propose. Get out on one knee and propose. You want me to call him up and tell him?
It's been almost 4 months, and it's been a little rough. We're in love, but it's a tough being in love, so we're trying to work it out. So I have crossed fingers. So maybe I'll just play Amy Rose music for a week solid, and I'll be like, honey, look, it's my new favorite. It's Amy Rose. I'm going to try. I'm going to give it my best
country boys,
shot.
whoever you are out there, just get on one knee and just propose. Come on. What are you waiting for?
Oh, my God, I so love my Amy Rose. This is awesome. Now, before I forget, I want to say once again, thank you so much, Michael. If you are listening, which I think you are, thank you so much for bringing me such talented musicians and letting me have a wonderful time doing what I have a passion for, which is having people like you on my show so I can just raise some awareness, get your name out there, hopefully try to get you some new fans. I promise you in Canada, if I am there, I will certainly come and see you, certainly. And one more time, just to reiterate, www.amyrosemusic.com. We're on YouTube, we're on MySpace, we're on Reverb Nation, Facebook, which is Amy Rose Music. Follow her on Twitter, which I do, which is at Amy_Rose_music. That's every way to find you. And in addition, just to let you know, Amy, so you can let other people know, after we get finished this morning, maybe within the hour, this will become an archived episode. We were live this morning, and so it's archived. So anyone can go any point in time all year round. You can go back and listen to you here. And additionally, we're going to try to get it up on YouTube so you can get a national listening so that people can actually hear you nationwide as well. And again, last thing I can tell you is please come back on my show because I would love to have you anytime.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, not a problem at all, dear. You have yourself a nice weekend.
You too.
All right. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks so much, folks. That was my exclusive interview with Amy Rose. As you can see, she is just an amazing talent. She has an absolutely blooming personality, and I can't say when I've had a better time on a Saturday morning hanging with a musician besides my BFF and best friend. I just wanted to make a couple quick notes here for you to the listening audience. For anyone who is in Milwaukee, which is where I reside, please make it a point to get out to Okachi this evening. My soul sister and best friend, Annie B. of Annie B. and the Vagabond Company, is going to be playing out there tonight. Forgive me in that I do not know the specific location as to where she's going to be. So please check out her website at www.anniebmusic.com. Additionally, out in Cudahy, Wisconsin tonight, my fellow musician friend Scotty Barrett of the band Bad Boy will be playing drums out at the bar, as I mentioned, the Salty Dog, and that's in Cudahy this evening. Additionally, for those of you who live close to the Miller Park area, Mamie's on 33rd is National is having their actual annual Christmas party this evening, which yours truly will be stopping by sometime tonight. And, of course, my dear friend Dave Miller is also having an open jam as well tonight with his friends, which you may want to check out. So bottom line, folks, is there is a tremendous amount of talent that's going on tonight. Didn't want to forget Scotty Meisner out at the Fox and Hounds restaurant. Go check out live music. I am a #1 advocate because I myself am a literary artist. I'm also a big fan of artists all over the place in Milwaukee, and a huge supporter of live music. So I wholeheartedly advocate you getting out there and checking it out. On a final note, I just wanted to talk about next week, just to let you all know what we have coming up on the 11th. My very dear friend Lori Sidus of the band Lynette Skinnard, another musician, will be coming on the 11th, and that's at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. On the 12th, we have a younger actor, Brandon Tyler Russell, who's going to be on the show at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then on the 13th at 5 p.m., we're going to be having our exclusive interview with a younger actress, Emma Bateman. So I do hope that you will take the opportunity to tune into my program or even archive listen to it. I appreciate you taking the time this morning to listen to our show. And I hope that you all have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. By singing dog. By goal.
I pronounce you.
By wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really? Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. By singing dog. By goal.
I pronounce you.
By wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really? Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.